A photo involving McDonald's has recently surfaced on the internet during a holiday season. And as a delivery driver, whether it be Uber Eats, Doordash, Grubhub, doesn't really matter, we're going to recognize some of the stuff that we see in this photo, but it's going to actually probably blow a lot of us away. I haven't even actually looked at it. I'm going to be reacting to it and giving my thoughts and also reading some of y'all's thoughts. So let's hop into the video. Hello everyone, this is Elijah with the Rideshare Guy, and in this video we're going to be covering a topic that some have actually put out into question, which is, do delivery drivers actually want to pick up food for these apps? Those apps being Uber Eats, Doordash, and Grubhub, any food delivery app. Because a picture which you can see on the screen right now recently surfaced during a holiday, and for those of y'all that don't know, this is a McDonald's restaurant. And these bags are delivery bags. So if you ever gone into a McDonald's, you go in there and if they have the food ready, it's sealed in these bags and they have order numbers on it. So look at how many orders are just sitting there. Apparently they have not been picked up yet. Now I don't know the length of time as far as how long each one of them has been there, but I can personally tell you that if they're starting to pile up, then drivers aren't taking these orders. Usually you don't really see more than 3 or 4 orders at a time just kind of piled up waiting for a driver to come and pick it up. Usually it's the most I've seen personally is 3 orders and that's it. So I just want to restate that if it's that many just sitting there, something is clearly wrong. Now we're going to read some of you guys' thoughts as far as what could be going on here with this particular scenario. So we posted a picture on our YouTube community tab, and let's see what some of you had to say. Looks like the situation for picking up the food is not convenient for the driver. Probably a combination of this along with low rates. I don't think these delivery companies are increasing the payouts very much anymore. Even if they get constantly rejected, they're just eating the loss on deliveries that they never make it out. So that's what Jose puts, and that's an interesting observation. MB says, I accepted a fast food order once, went in to pick it up. They told me I had to go through the drive-thru for Uber pickups. Never again accepted them. Now, M brings up a very good point because that's happened to me on a few occasions, especially when the drive-thru line is like 7 or 8 cars long, and we're not actually going there to order ourselves. These are pre-ordered on the apps, so one thing the restaurants could probably improve on in this situation is making arrangements so that drivers don't have to wait in drive-thrus no matter the situation. Because truth be told, the order could be ready, but if you're forced to wait through the drive-thru, you're waiting for literally no reason. So that's an area that restaurants could probably improve on. All day, every day says, looks like they're doing delivery and drive-thru orders only, or the food is going to a shelter for Thanksgiving. You would think it would be the second one based on how many orders is there. That would be a good first impression. The You Melanin Warrior, and forgive me if I'm butchering your name, low base pay plus no tip times high miles equals no delivery. So they're basically saying that the price is not worth it for the amount of miles that you're probably going to drive. Macross 7K says this happens when people don't leave a tip on the app. Herbert Cato says pile up as a result of no tips, too much $2 fees, too many long distance runs for peanut fares. So he's basically saying that the amount of money that you're getting paid just isn't worth it. And Uber Lyft Phoenix says no tip orders. So now that we've read some comments from you all, I'm going to give my own perspective, and I'm also going to give just a little educational view for people who may be wondering exactly how the things work. So the main reason I could see those orders not getting picked up, well, there's really 2 reasons. One, for these orders, the payout is too low, or 2, there's some kind of obstruction that's making getting to the restaurant a pain in the butt. Like there's some accident that's just making it impossible to get to the restaurant, so maybe drivers are canceling. I doubt it's really the first one, because I don't think there's any accident that would be prolonged for like hours that would cause that kind of backup. So my guess is it's probably the price. And what make up the price that us as drivers are paid is mainly 2 things. It's what the companies are paying us, and it's also what the customers are tipping. And here's where some education may come to play, because you got to remember, each one of those orders is a customer who's waiting for their food, and clearly there's an issue if that food is still there after like an hour or two. So the way this works is we just see the ping come up and the tip is included if the customer is already tipped. If they have not tipped, then there's no tip included. So the only thing that's shown is how much the restaurants are paying. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind as a customer is that we make decisions based off of how much that order is paying and how far away it's going. So if they don't balance out to be somewhat worth our time, we're probably going to go ahead and decline that order. I'll give you an example. Let's say if an order was paying $6, including what the customer tipped, and it's going 1.5 miles. Well, there's going to be some drivers that probably would take that order because it's not that far away, and assuming there's no kind of obstruction that's going to make the drop off like longer than it should be, you can go ahead and snag that up, make a quick $6, and then be about your way. But take that same pay amount and let's say you're 10 miles away. Drivers aren't going to be very likely to take that order because it's not going to really seem all that worth it, because the drivers don't want to be making $6, $7, $8 an hour. Because if we actually sit down and weigh the factors, there's a chance that might be the only order that they get in that hour, which means they would have effectively made $6 an hour for that hour, and no one wants that. So they're going to probably go ahead and pass on that opportunity. Now, as y'all saw in the comments section, many of the drivers were agreeing or pointing out to what I just basically said. So the reason this happened is because the amount of money that's being put forward just isn't worth going to pick the food up and taking it to the drop off. That's really what it comes down to. So there's really only two things that could be done to change that scenario so the drivers would be interested in picking those orders up. And that would mean that either tips would have to be increased, or the amount the companies are paying in some form or fashion has to increase. This can be done via promotion, raising the rates, or by more people tipping on their orders. I can personally say as a driver, I don't really care where the money's coming from as long as my bottom line is taken care of. So it could be all of the three I just mentioned in terms of raising the rates, promotions, and then more tips, or it could just be one of them. Me as a driver, as long as I'm making the money that I want to make, which for me, I always want to stay in the range of $11 to $18 an hour, but truth be told, I want to be on the higher side of that range. And if it's higher than $18 an hour, hey, that's awesome. But this incident is actually a great teachable moment to just kind of show everyone exactly how this works, because I'm pretty sure customers that were waiting to get their food for clearly a long time probably were upset and they're wondering what the deal is. Well, videos like this could help bring more clarity to them so they know exactly what the scenario is, whether that be the restaurants, the customers, the companies, and obviously us, the drivers. That does it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing. We release new content every single week on the gig economy. So by subscribing, you can stay up to date on relevant news, tips, and tactics that will help you make more money as a gig worker. If you found value in the video, a like is very much appreciated, and I will catch you in the next one. Be safe, be profitable. Elijah with the Rideshare Guy, out.